Sage, you have a video game review for us today, and that is going to be for Aliens Dark Descent. Let us know about this game.
Yeah. So this came out in back in 2023, uh, kind of early that year. I didn't give it a whole lot of attention at the time, although I'm wish I maybe had taken a look at it sooner. Um, this is a real-time strategy game. This is an RTS, so you are kind of managing military units of characters from more of a bird's eye view perspective, a whole bunch of different characters and kind of there you go. That's a good example of the gameplay. It's this overhead view. You're managing military units and equipment and kind of moving them along these levels and through these environments. You have this big ship that crashes down onto this world, and what makes this a little different from other alien stories is you are actively working as a military out of this crashed ship, but you're actually successful in a lot of what you're doing. You're saving people from different parts of the colonies of this infested planet. You're building up your military to be bigger and bigger. You're actually increasing the size of people that is there, rather than like a slow reduction, like a typical kind of horror film would, in any other part of the Alien franchise. Um, and this game, uh, in terms of the story, it actually manages to move the needle a little bit and actually do things with Alien that I haven't seen before. A big part of the story is, of course, you've got Weyland-Yutani, right? You've got Weyland-Yutani owning all this stuff and business on this planet that you're in. But what's cool is that you slowly start to get this picture of, oh, some of this is really spiraled out of Weyland-Yutani's control, and not just the creatures, but the people. And that's a great shot right there. That figure that you're seeing, there is this cult that has formed around the aliens and the kind of uh, mythology that they extend into. And so you have this human cult here, which is like worshiping these things, and they take kind of, like the original H.R. Geiger concept for this stuff, right? The biomechanical element of it. In the original film, you see the space jockey, right? Which, Prometheus decided they were going to make the engineer characters, and I think is not a very interesting explanation for what that creature was. But in the original film, it is this giant kind of elephant like mummified skeleton, and it is fused into the pilot seat of that ship, right? And the implication there was always meant to be that the ship itself was part of the creature, the being itself. It was like one organism. And of course, Prometheus came along and was like, he was just wearing a suit and sat down in a chair, which I think is a lot less interesting. But this game really kind of goes back to H.R. Geiger's original design concepts and furthers that. So that figure that you saw at the end of that trailer there, is this cult actually starts genetically altering their own followers and implanting aliens. Like they have a chest burster in that blue sphere that you can see. So they actually have their hosts there. They have aliens embedded in them, but they have developed a technology to like forcefully keep the chest bursters in like a hibernative state for longer. And so it allows these soldiers to like move among these xenomorphs and almost act as like a military unit with them because they won't attack a person, right, that has a creature already implanted in them. So, it really feels like, honestly, one of the most novel things that someone's done with Alien in terms of story for a really long time, since the second film, really, because it's taking what the creatures are and it's going like, hey, Weyland-Yutani always wants these things. There's always this corporate interest element. But it's evolving that idea in terms of like, well, what do people actually start doing with these things? Like, that's always been the goofy question, right? Is in a franchise like that, you think about the corporation wanting these creatures, but these creatures always just destroy everything and break out all the time. It's like Umbrella and Resident Evil. It's like, what are you guys actually trying to accomplish with these things? Because these things always get out and they always destroy a bunch of stuff. But here, there's actually like a okay, here's practical evolution and competent creation that is happening using the xenomorphs as a piece of like biomechanical technology. So I think it's really smart. It's really actually interesting sci-fi concepts this game is presenting. And it evolves further, further and further than that. I mean, this game kind of tosses Prometheus in the trash a little bit and is like, no, we're gonna explore some ancient spaces that are a little more like what the space jockey seemed like in the original film. And I won't go into full spoilers for that, but you see some very interesting architecture, some very interesting creature design the further you get into this game. And then, to kind of switch over to the gameplay side of things, it's just a really good RTS. Anybody that's played like an XCOM game in the past would be really at home with how the systems work here. You've got your unit of Marines, and you really do have to like keep watch over these characters and really manage them. You have to manage their equipment, their armor. You have to put them into like training and upgrade them like one level at a time. And you can lose soldiers, and if they die, they're gone. You've got to retrain from scratch new ones and like really build like a military yourself and micromanage all these little elements. And it sounds like a lot, and that might not be for everybody. For certainly, this style of gameplay is maybe a little more niche than like something like Alien Isolation, which is a little more simple and upfront in terms of its gameplay mechanics. But I think, you talk about like Alien Isolation, which we reviewed not that long ago, was one of the things I loved about that was it captured the feel of the original film and kind of what that experience is like, that horror experience, very well. And I think, there's been a lot of games over the years, over the decades that, going back to like the AVP games that were coming out in like the late 90s even, there's a lot of games that have tried to capture the like colonial marine kind of action game aspect of Aliens. Like there was the game Aliens Colonial Marines, which was famously this like huge disaster and failure back in like 2011, 2012, something like that. Um, but I think this game, and sometimes you just need a different approach to capture the experience of certain things. Another comparison I would make is X-Men Legends, which we also did a review for, again, not all that long ago, but a lot of superhero games that try and do too many characters at once, like the Avengers game or the Suicide Squad game. Every character ends up kind of playing similar to each other, and then it's like, oh, they all feel the same. And I think just having like a first person shooter for Aliens, it's like, yeah, it's not that that can't be fun, but actually having like a tactical, commanding firsthand experience for you as a player managing a military and actually having to use genuinely like interesting like strategic elements based on your environment and the equipment that you're able to take with you and what marine is good at what skill and actually like designing a unit around these things to complement each other. To me, that feels so much more true to what like Alien is doing with the Colonial Marines in that film. Um, and so yeah, it's an unconventional gameplay style for maybe the mainstream gaming audience that wants to just kind of shoot something. But I really think that in terms of being true to the spirit of the film Aliens, I think this is the best video game that's been done in that style or to kind of capture that feeling the same way that the Alien Isolation is the best at capturing the feeling of Alien of the first film.
Mm, okay. And saw a little bit of gameplay there, the top-down type of look at it there. You mentioned the different additions it adds to the alien world there. I showed a picture of the, different creatures there with the xenomorph with the, inside of them there. So you got that kinda going on. And then also in the trailer, you see some other different creatures that kinda comes up, almost like the xenomorph dog or something like that. Like,
Yeah, you fight a few different units of them. You've got kind of like the standard ones. You've got the queens, of course, that were introduced in the second movie. It was Alien 3, actually, the third film that introduced the like dog alien. That movie's like all on a prison planet, and it is one main alien for a lot of that film, but it's hatched out of a dog instead of a person, so it does have like a different body type, and it's a lot faster. So you fight that type in this game. That's not original creation of the game. That did come from the films first. But this game does do this one like kind of bruiser alien type that's got this giant like armored headpiece on its like skull that is like this huge, and it like charges like a bull almost. That was new for me, at least. I had never seen that before. That was really cool. And then there's also I've heard the term used before, but I never was 100% sure. But there's like a type that's referred to as a Praetorian, which is they're a bit smarter, a bit slower. They kind of stay on two legs instead of running around on all four legs a little more.
was this the creature you
Um,
were talking about with the big thing?
yeah. That's like the bull one. That one's a really cool, different kind of variant. And then there's one that you see it's kind of a final boss at the end of the game. But if watching the very original Alien film, and that's that one right there, and that's the space jockey basically body, where it's like, oh, it's the body's actually part of the environment. It's again really true to the original
And this is
designs.
the final boss?
Um, yeah. So that's you spend more time running away from it than fighting it. But in the original film, the dead space jockey in the chair has a hole in its chest, right? And it's like, oh, clearly one hatched out of this other giant creature. And that xenomorph, it's kind of like actually getting a glimpse at what a xenomorph hatched out of these giant elephant space jockey beings, what that might actually look like. Its second mouth, you could see, is almost like an entire eel instead of it just coming out a few inches. It's like this long tentacle. So it's biting people's heads off from like 30 feet away. And then it doesn't have back legs. It's like it's got front legs and like a rib cage, and then it's almost like sliding across the ground with its back half like a not quite like almost more like a slug or a snake. Um, it's really cool design. I think they referred to it as a Titan was like the classification for it. It's like three times bigger than a queen. And it just
I
this
like the
really it feels like it's expanding on the idea of what these things actually are and doing new things with it.
jeez. Yeah, wow, yeah, this looks fucking freaky. I don't even know why this dude trying to shoot at it, bro. Just I mean,
Yeah,
you see some shit like that, like, bro, what you
just
doing?
run, man. Just get the hell out of there.
Like, bro, I'm getting the fuck out of there. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is really cool. Okay. Yeah. Um, and I know you were disappointed by Alien Romulus there. They say, well, the big thing in that movie is like, well, they already introduced that already in a previous Alien film.
That thing in that movie was a combination of the Alien Resurrection, Alien 4, and then just like the engineers from Prometheus.
Yeah, so that wasn't anything new for you there, seeing that. Maybe for some people, yeah, the whole kind of birthing scene and everything like that. So yeah, you think so? This is a pretty good addition to the Alien franchise.
I would say that this is like better than every movie other than the first two.
Okay. And this came out just a couple of years ago now. 2023 is when this game kind of came out.
Yeah, pretty
Uh,
recent still, so it's not too old. And it was for December of 2024. It was one of the free games with PlayStation Plus on that service.
yeah. So it's not free anymore. There.
No,
So yeah, but you were able to play for free. So how much is it there? If you want to play for free, I see
so
here
the
on.
price. Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
I was gonna say on Steam, so they got it for 55% off. So you can get it. Original price is 40, and then you can get it for 17.99. You can get
That's
that.
a great deal. It looks like on the PlayStation currently it's 40. Um, and that's I mean, I would have paid full price for this on release day. I ended up really, really enjoying it and getting into it that much. So even though I got to play it for free, which is nice, of course, I would have paid for this and been happy with the money I spent on it.
Yeah. Also, if you want to get the Aliens Fire Team Elite plus the Alien Dark Descent bundle, You can get that for, 22.93 right now. It's 67% off if you want to do the
Okay.
whole bundle. So maybe you wanna go for the bundle, since that's not that much more than actually just getting the base game, if you
Right.
want to do that. But and this special promotion, for the base game for 18, it ends January 27th. So, maybe wanna jump on that. By the time I upload this video, maybe it'll be already like 18th or 20th or something. So you may wanna
Yeah.
jump on that if this game sounds interesting to you. So what would be your final thoughts and rating for Aliens Dark Descent?
Yeah, this was a really cool experience. It did a lot of genuinely new things with the mythos and the world of Alien, and it actually expanded it in ways that I found interesting. Um, the only negatives that I would say is that because the characters and are designed to be looked at from this top-down view, sometimes during cutscenes, you pull in and you actually see like them having conversations and it being a little more up close. And sometimes the facial animations can be a little lackluster. They don't feel super expressive. I think the voice acting part is quite good, but sometimes the facial expressions can be a little limited. And that's normal for the style of gameplay that this is. But I think if you really want to have these cutscenes and kind of and come closer in to the characters, like maybe if this gets a sequel or something, maybe work on the facial animations a little bit. Um, but other than that, I don't really have a lot to complain about with this one. I think I'd honestly give this a solid peak. Um,
Mm,
it's the just like Alien Isolation. Um, I don't know if it's just a thing of video games and the people that get the chance to work on these just have more ideas for what they want to do with this universe that at least for me personally I just find more appealing than what the movies. I feel like the movies kind of continue to go back to this member berries thing and just want to do things we've seen before over and over again. Um, oh, and if it is something new and different, it's Prometheus, and it's just like, please get it away from me. But yeah, this I thought this was great. I mean, you have like a real, and you even have like a good, I didn't talk about it too much, but you have like a good narrative of, Wayland Yutani kind of executive, kind of having the, you know, rug pulled out from under her and seeing how awful this corporation is and then seeing the cult that rises out of this corporation's control and then you have like this three different factions kind of dealing with each other. That's something that we've never seen in this franchise before. Yeah, I give this a peek. I thought it was fantastic, like a really nice surprise because I didn't necessarily expect a lot going in, because I hadn't heard that much about the game, but it really surprised me.
yeah. And so you just played it because it was like, "Hey, it's free, it's Aliens, I know
Yeah,
Aliens." Okay. Just picked it up and you
give it a
were
shot and see what's going on here. And then it just kept doing things, and I'm like, oh wow, that's like actually a new idea, or like, oh, that was surprisingly well executed. And yeah, it feels way more worthwhile than any of the films in a long time. And then I got a solid like 30 hours out of it as well. So like not a short game either, especially if you really take the time to understand how the management systems work and really work with all of the individual soldiers.
mm, okay. So high praise from Sage here. So he gives Aliens Dark Descent a peek. Very nice. And like I said, hey, that deal is on there if people want to check it out. Not bad, 18 bucks if you got the money there. Mm. How long is it? Uh,
I got like 35 hours out of the game.
okay, that's pretty, yeah, 35 hours for, yeah, about 20 bucks. Yeah, that's pretty good for that amount of time. All right. So